In our study of towns, we are going to study some few Kikuyu or Central Province towns and their meaning or their origin. I will start, because I said Kikuyu towns, I'll start with the name Kikuyu. You know, when the Europeans came, they passed Nairobi as they were moving westwards. So the first town that was occupied by Kikuyus then, you see Kikuyus have occupied up to up to Kawangware, Driruta. But those days, Nairobi used to belong to Maasais. Nairobi, if you ask a lot of people, if you ask them the meaning of Nairobi, they say place of cool water. No. Nairobi in Kimasai means cool. Now, if you have been to that roundabout near museum, there is a river there. That river, Maasais used to call it. That river, okay, it's called River Nairobi. That river, Maasais used to call it Enkare Nairobi. Enkare Nairobi. Enkare is water. Nairobi, cool. For those of you who take water from the African port, that is cool water. Maasai's rivers they call Uaso, something like that. But Enkare, although is also called, rivers is also called Enkare, but it means water. So it is the river that was called cool waters, not place of cool waters. It is just the water which was called cool water. Enkare, that is water. Nairobi, cool. But when it becomes colder, like those people who travel around Limuru, there are times when you have to drive very slowly because of the mist. That one in Kimasai is called Enkichabe. Enkichabe. That is when we others could not pronounce Enkichabe. We say Kijabe. So I was just saying all these areas were Maasai land. But the first place where the Europeans got Kikuyus, they named that place Kikuyu. That is why you find there is a constituency called Kikuyu and a town called Kikuyu. They all belong to a county called Kiambu. Now, in Kikuyu, a place of is called Kia. I had said that Kiamunyi means Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri. But I've been told that Kiamunyi also could mean Kia Munyi, a place of rhinos. Kiamunyi. So Kia is a place of. Kiambogo, a place of buffaloes. So in Kikuyu, anything starting with the Kia, it means place of. So Kiambu, Kiabu. In Kikuyu, bu, kugabu. Kwena, wahoramo tumia ni ya kugabu. Bu in Kikuyu is nduru, wailing. So, Kiabu is a place for wailing. There's a time when there used to be a lot of wailing there. Kwa hivyo ngeta hazikuanza leo. Ngeta hazikuanza leo. And then there's a place called Kabete. I have already recorded about Kabete. You'll read it. But Kabete means a small ring. Kafete. A small ring. You'll find that in Kiswahili, a ring, a finger ring is called pete. And Kikuyu is called fete. Now, if it is a small one, it's kafete. Then there is a place called Udhiru. Udhiru, Godhira. A place where things, I don't know, kitugani ilikuwa. I don't know what thing used to diminish there. We have a big town called Thika. Thika, there is a river there. The river is called the Ruaraka. The Ruaraka is in Kiswahili it's called kutiririka. Kutiririka. So in Kikuyu it was called thiririka. And Wazungu could not pronounce that thiririka, they called it thika. One of the best places to stay in Kenya is called Ruaraka. Ruaraka, there is a river there. There's a river there, and among African tradition, people used to bathe in the rivers. So there are some rivers which were, going to the river, people of different genders would be a challenge. So some rivers were selected for specifically for the female gender, where they could go if they want to bathe, they bathe there. So men were not allowed to go there, and so the river was called Ruaraka. Aka are women. Moka is one. Aka are many. Roe is river. Rua of Aka. Roe Ruaraka. River of women. Now when Kikuyus would say Roe Ruaraka, Wazungu, Europeans could not pronounce it, and then they came with the name Ruaraka. We have a town called Karatina. Karatina, Kikuyu's alcohol is called Moratina. It is derived from a tree which is also called Moratina. And as you know, in Kikuyu, anything big is called Mo. And if it is small, it is called Ka. Like Kafete. So, a small pete. And Karatina, the type of trees which used to produce that ingredient for making alcohol was called Moratina. But the type that was growing up in a certain area, it was called, it used to produce so small produce that the tree was called Karatina. They are sponge-like things which are protrude. That is the Moratina. And you see the one which was from Karatina area were small ones. And that is why the town was called Karatina. The police college is at a place called Kiganjo. Kiganjo. And you have heard people called Waiganjo. Kiganjo is the house that has been deserted. It has been deserted, and it has become ruinous. Maybe somebody has even died and they just leave it that way. Among the Luhyas, such a house is called Likubiri. Those days, houses used to be mud and grass top, so that when someone dies or the house stays for so long time, you move to another place and you leave it to fall on its own. So that house which is falling by itself was called Iganjo. Iganjo. So Kiganjo is a sort of that house. And Waiganjo was born in that house. Murang'a. Murang'a, there was a quarry. There was a quarry. So when people are making those rocks for building, you hear them, when they hit, you hear nga, nga. So you find Murang'a. It's saying that the person who makes the sound nga, or yule mtu anapiga nga, kupiga nga, kupiga nga. You'll find it's like hitting together two metals. You find that sound. And that is how the name Murang'a came. In Kiambu, we have a place called Kirigiti. When Europeans settled, they decided to play cricket there. So Kikuyus could not pronounce the game of cricket. Kino, I went there, tried to find out the origin of the word Kino, but I'm told there is a family that used to stay there, and it used to be called Kino. It's a prominent family, and if you go there, you'll be shown that family. We have a place called 87. 87. There used to be a bus, Kenya Bus Service, which used to leave town, CBD, city center, and that was its destination. That is where the number 87 used to turn and go back to town. So the place where it used to reach, it was named 87. It is not very far from Kino. You'll find that there are two places. There is a place in Karatina called Kayaba, and also there is a place in industrial area called Mukuru Kayaba. Mukuru in Kikuyu is a valley. So Mukuru Kwanjenga is the valley where it's a long valley which moves from point A to say D. So when that valley reaches point A, it is valley A. It goes to point B, it's valley B. Goes to point C, valley C. And if it goes to point D, it's valley D. So this valley, when it is at Njenga's place, it's called Mukuru kwa Njenga. When it reaches a place where Kayaba is, it's Mukuru Kayaba, and so on and so forth. Now, Kayaba is the K apple tree. And in Karatina, around the Tumutumu area, during the Mamau time, they built there a village, and all Kikuyus were rounded up from that area, and they used to stay in that village, and the village was surrounded by K-epos, and K-epos in Kikuyu is Kayaba. And when we go to industrial area, Mukuru Kayaba is that valley at a place where K-epos were in plenty. Nowadays, the places are so much. They must have removed those K-epos to develop the place. We have a place called Mudhurwa, where I was born, and we also have a place in Karatina called Mudhurwa. Mudhurwa is a sort of a plant which is in Karatina, and I believe in Mudhurwa of Nairobi that plant was there. And you see, Land Mudhurwa is a residence of railway people. And railway people, a sizable population of railway people before independence were Luo. And the Luos would hear the place called Mudhurwa. You see, Mudhurwa is borrowed from a Kikuyu word of a certain type of a plant. But when Luos heard the name Mudhurwa, it resembled the word, a Luo word which says Jothurwa. Jothurwa means Weingo, Modoa Nyoba, someone from where we come from. Mutu wa kwetu. So that is why they used the word, they changed the word. They gave a second name and started calling it Dallas, because in Luo, Dala means home area. That is how you can find the name moved from Mudhurwa to Jothurwa to Dallas. You find also there are places in Kikuyu land called Kieni. Kieni is a plain. Kieni is a plain. There is Kiharu. Kiharu, I've always believed it is a field, like a football field or something. But I was recently told that from the way you pronounce, it may determine whether you mean the field or a slopey place. And I'm told that the original people of Murang'a, the way they pronounce Kiharu, it is that version of the slopey place. Those from Kiganjo, you know, morning run, you run from Kiganjo up to a place called Marwa. Yes, in Kikuyu, alcohol is called Njohi. But what people don't know is, like in Kiswahili, ugali, you can call it ugali or sima. You mean the same thing, isn't it? But even in Kikuyu, the second name for alcohol, the much known name for alcohol is Njohi. But Marwa is also alcohol in Kikuyu. You'll find that some other Bantu tribe, they also called alcohol malwa. Malwa, that is why you find some Aluya called Wamalwa. Wamalwa. But in Kuria, they call alcohol, they call Marwa. That's why you'll find some Kurias also called Marwa. So Marwa town near Kiganjo is named after alcohol. Then we have Limuru. Limuru now is occupied by Kikuyus, but originally it used to be occupied by Maasais. Limuru is not a Kikuyu word. Limuru is derived from a Maasai word meaning Ilmur. Ilmur. Ilmur is the donkey's shit, the donkey's droppings. Ilmur. Now when the Kikuyus came, Maasais used to call that place Ilmur because there were so many donkeys and there were so many donkey droplets. So when the Kikuyu came and found the Maasai saying Ilmur, Ilmur, they call it Limuru. Nyandarua. Nyandarua is hide. Ngozi ya ng'ombe. You'll find that, the hilly part of that place resembled from far like animal hides which are being spread to dry. Then we have a place called Nyahururu. Nyahururu, that is Maasai land, and it used to be, originally Maasai used to call it Oloiurur. You see, when the waterfall goes, it makes that sound of urr. So Maasai call it Oloiurur. A traveler came and called it Thompson Fall, but Jomo Kenyatta said it should be given its original name. And so since the Maasai had been chased and Kikuyus were still remaining, then the Kikuyus called it, they used the Kikuyu word of Nyahururu. We have a place in Nyeri called Mukurweini. You remember that in Murang'a is the Eden of the Kikuyus at a place called Mukurwanyagadhanga. So, among the first Kikuyus who moved out of Mukurwanyagadhanga, they moved towards Nyeri. When they moved towards Nyeri, they moved to a place now called Mukurweini. You'll find that Kikuyu, they like, many towns, they like adding ini. Ini means, like Mukurweini, means those people who came from Mukurweini, those who came from Mukuru Wanyagadanga, they say that this is now the other Mukuru. So that is how the name Mukurweini is. You'll find some other towns, which I have to be sincere, as of now, I maybe somebody can explain in their comment, like Gashagaraide, whatever. So the name comes, but ine means the center, katikati kabisa. Katikati. Town ine. CBD is called town ine. Mogodaide. It's in the middle of the. So Mukurweini is the middle of Bukurwe. And you see Mukurwe, there are those people who came from Murang'a. There are places where these people walijitokeza kwa wingi, and then they came kujituma. So when they walijitokeza wakajituma, they called the place Wiyumiririe. Ujitokeze. And in Naivasha, there was a place where there was a plantation where there was always tractors going around, and you could always find a big plantation, these tractors plowing and whatever, and people call it Karagita. That with so many comments, you learn Kikuyu from me. Asante.